Former police officer Malungelo has been found guilty on 6 counts of murder of her relatives and her ex-boyfriend. The convicted murderer reportedly cashed in on insurance policies which were taken out in their names to the tune of 1.4 million rand. She has been found guilty on those various counts, as I was saying. That's 1, 2, 7, 9, 10 and 12. If you want to take a technical look at those 6 counts, we'll break them down further. Take a listen to the judgment.
Accused is found guilty on count 1, that's murder of Malungelo Booi. Count 2, that is murder of Newzroom or 3. Count 7, Yingwani Morris Mabasa. Count 9, Zanele Motor. Count 10, the death of Mayeni Mashaba or Willie Motor. Count 12, Brilliant Mashiro. Have I covered all the counts?
All the murder counts?
Yes.
Well, the court has also found Ndlovu guilty of the attempted murder of her mother, who actually testified in her defense a few weeks ago.
Lastly, on count 14, the accused is found guilty of attempted murder of her mother. That is my order.
Let's get you more on the conviction today of Malungelo. Then bring in Newzroom Afrika senior reporter Malungelo Booi, who was in court for the judgment. Malu, good to see you. So let's begin with the reasons behind the conviction today. Malungelo convicted 6 counts of murder, but she did not physically kill. What she was accused of doing is orchestrating the murder. So what is the reasoning that informed the conviction?
It's quite interesting because, you know, the state really had to rely on circumstantial evidence and also evidence based on what's termed similar facts. What do we mean by that? So we know, Temegile, that all the people that were killed in this particular incident were related to Malungelo. Some of the people that were killed here one of the people was her lover. She also had her nephews and nieces killed here in this particular case. But here's what's interesting. She had also taken life policies on all of them. So the case had also had to take that into consideration because there was a pattern here of some sort, and the judge was saying that this really cannot be ignored. And also the fact that some of the people were actually, before they were killed, they were seen with Malungelo. So the court was saying that in a way does sort of like points to her, and the fact that, you know, she was the only person that was to benefit or that benefited from the life policies that were actually taken out when the people died.
Interesting to note that she's also been convicted then of attempted murder. That's to do with the plot to kill her mother. Her mother, who, as I was saying a few moments ago, actually testified in Malungelo's defense. Do we know what is going to happen from here? Is she going to appeal?
Well, listen, there was one charge that she was actually saying that she will not plead guilty at all. And there was a charge also of conspiracy to murder. And some of those charges were actually, at first she was charged with attempted murder of 7 of her relatives, and that includes her sister. But the judge was actually saying that, no, I cannot find evidence that says that she actually wanted these to be killed. All I will say is that it seems as if this was conspiracy, so I will not find her guilty of attempted murder. But we know, though, Tembekile, that Malungelo, in fact, had, you know, said that she would actually plead not guilty to all the charges that had been leveled against her, but the judge found her guilty on almost all of the charge. There was only one charge that she was actually not found guilty on. That was the charge of conspiracy. Just one charge of conspiracy.
And Malungelo, aside from just the shocking nature of the crimes that a court has now confirmed took place here, what also drew a lot of public attention and reaction was the behavior of Rosemary Ndlovu when she appeared in court. Her first day, I recall, when we all began to cover the trial, she put on a show, she was speaking to the media. At some point, she was throwing food at journalists. How was she in court today?
I mean, she arrived, she was actually quite early. I mean, she was seated when some of us arrived in court, and she just kept to herself. Interestingly enough, she was very subdued. I mean, she did not look at the back at all to the crowd or the journalists and the police officers that were, you know, in the court gallery. She kept on looking into her fingers, and you can tell that she's actually fidgeting, and she can actually tell now that the walls are really caving in on her. Interestingly enough, Temegile, when the judge was handed down and she was taken away to the police cells, there was only one of her relatives who was in court who immediately left the courtroom as that judgment was being handed down.
Newzroom Afrika senior reporter Malungelo Booi summing up events in court today. Malu, thank you very much for that update.